questions?
For causing GHGs and smog that comes from cars in Canada?
Absolutely not. What we are saying is that as an industry, we are perceived as the largest or one of the largest contributors to greenhouse gases and smog. And we are here today to basically to set the record straight that as an industry, we have actually been a leader in cleaning up our environment. And we recognize, however, that this can't be done alone. We need to all work together because this is a planet that we all inhabit. So we're looking for everyone to do their share. But certainly targeting the automobile industry as the biggest villain in the environmental issue is something that we need to set the record straight. And hopefully we will achieve that with the launch of this website today.
The manufacturers who are funding this campaign, or is it dealers?
No, absolutely not. This is an initiative that was launched through our association, and it is primarily destined for the public as an educational website. No, our dealers certainly do not fear anything in that regard. You must recall that the consumer also has a big say in what they will purchase, and we need to recognize that today's technology is very environmentally friendly, and the notion that the SUVs and some of the larger vehicles that are out there today are big polluters is incorrect. And so our dealers, first and foremost, want to cater to the consumer's needs, and as we've indicated, some consumers may require a larger vehicle than others. However, that doesn't preempt the fact that they can contribute to cleaning up our environment by using some of the techniques that we've mentioned here today. But certainly our dealers, first and foremost, want to be able to supply the consumers with the mode of transportation that they require.
Rick, can I add one piece to that equation, if I could? Sorry, my name is Hugh Williams, and I'm the Director of Public Affairs for the Canadian Auto Dealers Association. I think an important piece of context for the public equation of this is that Canadian consumers are already much more responsible than their American counterparts. Approximately half of the marketplace in Canada is already dedicated to small vehicles, compacts and subcompacts, which is about twice the market share of that of the United States. And if you look at the SUV market, for example, in the United States, and this is accounting for the different size of the market, they're buying twice as many SUVs and twice as many luxury vehicles as Canadians are. So Canadians have already signaled that they want that environmental choice. There are limits as to how far we can move in that direction, because families do need vehicles that meet their demands. And one of the things we want to make sure is we're bringing new technology to the marketplace, and we've got 20 manufacturers in Canada all competing to bring the best technology to the marketplace, that consumers in a new vehicle can drive a cleaner, newer, lower emission vehicle than they'd be able to drive certainly 20 years ago. So we need to get those older vehicles off the road. One of our key messages that we'll be delivering to government this week in meeting with the Minister of Environment is the need to advance the ball on a national scrappage program. The government's been very good in terms of the dialogue on that, and we need to start rolling that out to consumers to get those older vehicles off the road through incentives. And from our point of view, we're looking at a mixed set of solutions. We're looking at other modes of transportation as something that we're not opposed to. We're also encouraging consumers to walk where possible, to do their part to reduce greenhouse gas equation. So that's what the site will be delivering in the future. The basics are there in terms of what people can do now, but we'll be adding to that as we go forward.
Your colleague a second ago said you weren't afraid of selling more efficient cars in any way. Are you going to be telling the minister that you do not want to see California level standards?
With respect to California standards, there's been a lot of talk about that issue. And one of the ironic parts is that while California standards have been talked a lot about in California, the reality is we may not see California standards in California because they haven't received an Environmental Protection Agency waiver to implement those kind of standards. Our big concern with respect to California standards is we need in Canada one national framework for fuel economy standards that is rigorous and to the dominant North American standard. We can't have a scenario where one province has a set of fuel economy standards that are different from another province or different from the United States, because one of our concerns is that people will hang on to their older vehicles because the product mix won't be available as restrictions come into the marketplace, or you'll see that arbitrage from one province to another. So we're encouraged by the direction that the federal government's taken to have an aggressive fuel economy standard that moves the bar. The U.S. CAFE regulations at the moment are moving aggressively to increase fuel economy standards in a way that's really revolutionary. But we see that as one part of the equation. We need better fuel standards here in Canada. We don't have clean fuel standards here in Canada as compared to Europe, and we need to move ahead on issues like that. And we also need action on the fuel equation with respect to alternative fuel. One of the key factors, if you look at E85, the reduction in greenhouse gases by using cellulosic ethanol is significant, and we need to see that happen for fleets in Canada.
California standards and pull the U.S. to adopt that same standard. Would you have a problem with that?
Well, I think the reality of the North American marketplace is we are 10% of the North American marketplace, and we have to show leadership in certain areas. But there's no scenario where California standards would work in the Canadian equation. Just to give you some simple. We would definitely be opposed to that. If you look at the math on California standards, by 2012, 99% of the vehicles that are currently available for sale in the Canadian market would no longer be available for sale. So as you restrict that new vehicle sales marketplace, you're only really addressing 1% of the greenhouse gas equation, and you're actually making the overall equation worse because you're restricting what's available in the marketplace.
In 2012, you would be on pace to meet the California standards, or to meet what they would be at that point.
I think the important thing is we've already shown our commitment to reduce greenhouse gases with respect to our greenhouse gas initiative and the memorandum of understanding that was signed to reduce greenhouse gases by 5.3 megatons. And what we need is a national framework that's consistent with one dominant U.S. standard. Any other questions?
Well, thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.